We are back here at Cobram Estate and we've been blessed with some incredible crystal clear blue skies. What an amazing day to start cooking. We've got a little log fire happening behind us here because it's a little bit fresh out here in the country, but there's nothing wrong with that because we are well on our way to cooking some phenomenal food today. And I think what better way to kick it off than making something so simple, so satisfying from scratch, our own focaccia. Now, this is a very simple, straightforward recipe. You can also apply it and use it as a pizza dough. And for me, making your own bread, your own pizza dough, takes me back to one of my first jobs working in a pizza restaurant and being chief in charge of stretching the dough and rolling it. And even to this day, it's probably one of the things I enjoy the most. So we're just gonna kick it off. We've got 300 grams of a good bread flour or pizza dough. You can buy these in your supermarket. Some dried yeast. So we've just got a 7-gram sachet and we're gonna go in with 180 mils or 3/4 of a cup of warm water. And the extra virgin olive oil that we're using today is the Robust. So it's got a full body flavor to it, which is what we want. We're gonna put it in the dough in the beginning, and then it's gonna go over the top before we put it in the oven. So we want about a 1/4 cup. How's that working? There we go, look at that. Working with the elements. All right, about a 1/4 cup of the extra virgin olive oil in there. And I'm just gonna use a wooden spoon just to start to bring it together. I used to make the mistake of putting everything in and going straight in with my hands. You just end up with it all over your hands. Always start with the tool until you get a crumbly dough consistency, and then you can really start to work it with your hands. And you can feel by touching the dough now, it's got a little bit of warmth to it from that water, which is what you want. It's gonna make it so much easier to knead and to work with. This is the point where you wanna add the salt in. If you add it earlier on with the yeast, salt and yeast, they don't get along. So you won't get as much puff, as much rise in the dough as what you'd like. All right, so dough's together now, just to make it easier. Throw it on your board or your kitchen bench and just start to work it in. This will probably take a good 5 to 6 minutes where it'll start to feel quite elastic and really roll over. What will happen as you develop the gluten, that will strengthen and it'll just start to stick together. And then that's when you know you're ready to let it rest. I'm just gonna rearrange my life over here. I seem to be back. Ah, dear. It's all right. It's good fun, good challenge. Tell you what, as far as offices go, I'm not complaining. It's starting to become nice and smooth. You can feel it in the palm when you're pushing down. You won't have as much of a grainy sort of consistency, a grainy texture to it. We're just gonna shape that into a nice little ball. You can feel it's really nice and smooth. Beautiful. All right, so in there, give it this is gonna be fun. Airtight coverage with cling film. Why is it every time I go to cling film something out here, the wind kicks up? Someone's having a laugh. This is a nightmare. All right, that has got a nice tight seal on it. Now you need to do, cover it up with a tea towel. If you want to put it out in the sun, that's going to give you some really good results. If you've got a nice warm dark space in your pantry, in your lounge room, if you've got the fire going, that would be absolutely perfect. And give that probably a good hour, let it rise, triple in size, and then we can knock it back and take it from there. Right, now, that one took a touch longer than what we expected, about 1.5 hours, and that's gonna happen. There's gonna be variations on the rising time, depending on the humidity, the heat, the light, all of those sorts of things come into play. But this one is well and truly tripled in size. Rip off my 48 layers of cling film. All right, so all we need to do now is just gently pull this out, and that's gonna go into our baking dish. Okay, so what we're gonna do, a little bit of oil on the base, just a touch. We wanna stretch our dough out to the shape of the pan to fit it. So what we're doing now, it's the same process as what you would do with a pizza dough. It has its initial proving time, its first rise, and then we knock it back, and this is where we're gonna add the thyme, the rosemary, the chili, and the olives, and then we'll let it rise again for about another half an hour. Olive oil over the top. And this is where you get to be a little bit freestyle with it. We're just gonna sprinkle these over. We've got some fresh rosemary that we've just chopped up, fresh thyme. We just pick the leaves off there. Some dried chili flakes, about a couple of teaspoons. And these olives, so we just had some marinated green olives that we're just gonna press in, just randomly scatter them around. And what's gonna happen when that focaccia goes through its second proof, it will almost encapsulate those olives and they'll be woven throughout the dough. So when you slice it open, they'll kind of be buried in there, which is what we want. All right, there we go. So simple, so few ingredients, and so pretty. It's not even cooked yet. That's gonna rise for about another half an hour, and then we'll put it in the oven for 20 minutes at about 200. The smell of freshly baked bread in the building is something that cannot be replicated and can't be beaten. And even since I was 14 working in the pizza shop, that is a skill that's traveled with me up until now. I still enjoy it and I still get just as excited making it from start to finish. And for me, if I'm being honest, you've got to keep it simple. A little drizzle, extra virgin olive oil over the top, a little sprinkle of salt, and sit back, enjoy the simple things in life.